So we were thinking Stewardship Sunday today, and you guys are so used to it. It's kind of, autopilot. So we wanted to just bring up a couple points that, you might want to know. This church is so active already, but as we were talking about today, I just noticed one thing that was interesting and weird. The epistle from St. Paul is the same as the one when Ted stood up about a month ago to talk to you about stewardship. Isn't that weird how the same epistle was repeated maybe 4 weeks apart? So I think the reason is that our Holy Fathers really knew this time of the year is about stewardship. And that you guys have to be reminded, we all have to be reminded about why we're here under this roof. So just as a I'm a storyteller, and I thought what really means to be a steward. And wouldn't you know, the other day I saw something in the paper, and it was about the game lands in Pennsylvania. Does anybody know about the game lands in Pennsylvania? I know Nick does because he's a hunter. The Game Commission in Pennsylvania operates and maintains about maybe over 1.5 million acres of land, pristine forest land. And in that, they pretty much preserve the wildlife and all the nature that's in it. The way that it's funded is by the hunting licenses. So the hunters really fund 1.5 million acres of land that the Game Commission maintains, and that may be a couple grants from the state. On the other hand, every summer and winter when there's no hunting, maybe 1 million more people use the game lands, but they don't pay anything, right? They're just pretty much using it. So all these outdoor clubs, and I had a whole list of them here when I was copying the article, realized that the game lands are not really maintained as well as they used to be. The reason is that there's not as many hunters. So there are not as many hunting licenses. There is not as much revenue. So this pristine land, this God-given earth that everybody is using, is going down the hill, basically. So the outdoor clubs thought, we have to step up. So they sent this message out to all their members and say, I know you don't hunt, but you use this place that's so nice, that's so, you so love. Why don't you do your part? Buy a hunting license. But we don't hunt. But it's your membership to this land, right? It's what you use. You don't have to hunt, you're using it. So I thought the same thing happens here. People would say, but I don't have a child to go to Sunday school, but I'm too old, I'm on fixed income. I come here every, once a month. I do this, I do that. Those are all the excuses, below the surface. But pretty much what's here is this pristine, God-given land that we all use and we all appreciate. And we all need to support. So I thought this was kind of a good segue to what St. Paul said today. God loves a cheerful giver. Because can you imagine those people when their paths are clear and they're driving the snowmobiles through and they're trekking through and they see the sunrise? If you haven't seen a sunrise in a forest while the snow is falling, I mean, that's a spiritual moment in itself. I mean, I'm telling you, I take more pictures than I hunt. It's just amazing to be out in nature. So it's amazing to be under this dome, I have to tell you. And you guys know about this. You live it. I don't have to really preach to the choir, but if you just look, I was going to tell you all the things you do that make this church work. All you have to do is look at this. Take a look at the bulletin today. I opened it and I thought, second page, faith and family weekdays, all day. It's not just a weekend church anymore. Every single night there's something going on here. On Focus, Light of Life, Light on the Hill celebration. The other day I got the angels for the tree for Christmas. They're going to be gone in 2 days. We're going to ask for more. Focus says, you guys are like the top donor, and you just don't stop. Fall retreat for the Goyans, Military Appreciation Day, card signing for the troops, Hope and Joy Thanksgiving Service Project, Turkey Bowl, Philoptochos holidays, Great Vespers, social ministry, welcoming guests. I mean, you know, that I don't need to say anymore. I'm in awe in what you do. And really, this is your hunting license. So even if you don't hunt, if you're here once a month, once a year, send it in and be careful that you don't just, you know, use it as a kind of a card that's signed, write the number down, send the check in. Be very careful because this is what maintains this pristine land. So thank you for everything you do. And for the changes, we've had a lot of improvements to this card. We spent a lot of hours, you know, all of us here. And Ted will tell you a little bit about what you see this year that's a little different and how we want you to really pay a little attention. Read it this year. Don't just sign it, read it. Thank you.
Good morning. As representatives of the Stewardship Committee, we are representing you. So Mike is our chair. We have Harry, we have Rick, we have Alexandria, and Charlie Petritas and myself. So we're just representatives of you, but I wanted to really talk about the changes that you're going to see on the stewardship card. And these changes are to reflect what God has charged us to do. In order for us to meet those charges, to meet that commitment, we have made a few changes to the card. Referencing your pledge, you'll see in the card there's a nice little graph here. And this graph really is representative of a family income and a percentage of that income. We want you to consider that prayerfully as you look to make your pledge. Again, the pledge is personal, and we want you to consider your pledge on your reflection and your relationship to God and what He has done in your life, what He has charged you to do personally as being a member of this church, and what we are charged to do collectively. And we can't do it without everyone's support, and I emphasize everyone's support. So you'll see that nice little graph in there. We ask that you consider that as well. There's obviously the chart on the mortgage payoff. We highlighted a couple things in terms of the percentage that is actually funded and by how many families, but we also want you to look at what's the percentage that is not funded, what is still yet needed by the number of families who have not yet contributed. So we're in this together. Again, this is a collective arrangement. Your time and talents are also important as well as your treasures. So we ask you prayerfully to consider becoming a part of this. We want to see new faces in a lot of these committees and also functions of the church because, again, this is our church and we want you to be represented prayerfully. We want you to be represented in body and with your whole heart in service to God. So we thank you very much for your time.